Hey there, I'm Mike, your everyday guy who works as a sales manager at a local tech firm. I've been with this company for about a decade. It's been quite a ride. Before that, I was bouncing around different jobs trying to figure out my life. My work involves a lot of talking, persuading, and selling, but I love it. I'm just about hitting my mid-30s. I've got black hair with the sides graying a bit, signs of wisdom, as I like to call it. I've always been a bit on the heavier side. But hey, I'm working on it. My mornings start at the gym now. The routine is tiring, but it feels good. I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado. My folks still live there in the house I grew up in. Mom's a retired teacher and Dad worked in the post office. I have a younger sister, Julie, who's settled in California. My parents' home was always filled with warmth and love, and that's something I've tried to carry forward into my own life. Speaking of my life, let's talk about Jess, my better half. She's a nurse, a real angel if you ask me. We've been married for 8 years now, and boy does time fly. We met in high school and stuck with each other through thick and thin. She's got the most radiant smile and a heart of gold. We don't have any kids yet, but we've got Baxter, our lively golden retriever. He fills our lives with joy and our house with hair. But we love him to bits. Our home, it's a nice suburban place in Denver. A 2-story with a backyard where Baxter loves to chase his tail. We moved here about 5 years ago from a tiny downtown apartment. The calm here is a pleasant change from the city's bustle. Now, let me introduce you to Sam, a significant part of my life. We met in college and hit it off instantly. He's a successful lawyer now. We've spent countless hours playing basketball, going on double dates, and just chilling. He's always been there for me, a steady presence, a confidante. We even planned to be each other's best men if we ever got married. And we did, to our college sweethearts. And that's a brief intro to my life, my folks, my wife, and my best buddy. But life, it has its ways to throw curveballs. And it did, flipping everything I knew and trusted upside down. So, back to my story. Our house, right. It's this cute 2-story building. Has a bit of a vintage vibe to it with its red brick exterior and white picket fence. It's nothing fancy, but to Jess and me, it was a dream come true. A home to call our own. The interior's cozy, with plenty of family photos and mementos of our life together. My favorite place is our little office space where I love to unwind with a good book and a cup of coffee. Living in Denver, well, it's been interesting. There's a charm to this city with its bustling streets and tall skyscrapers juxtaposed with serene parks. The view of the Rocky Mountains from our place is simply breathtaking. Sometimes, on clear days, we'd sit on our porch sipping tea, simply marveling at the beautiful landscape. Baxter loved it too, especially the walks in the park nearby. Our life was pretty routine. Jess worked the day shifts at the hospital and I had regular 9 to 5 office hours. Baxter, well, he spent his days causing mayhem around the house, but our weekends were reserved for family time. We'd go on picnics, explore local attractions, or simply snuggle up for a movie night. Let's circle back to Sam. He's about the same age as me, with sharp features that hint at his Italian heritage. Athletic, well-groomed, and always in style, Sam was always the charmer. He's articulate, a trait that serves him well as a lawyer. We spent a lot of time together, working out, watching games, grabbing a beer at the local pub. He was like a brother to me. Sam's wife, Lisa, is a childhood friend of Jess's. They've been inseparable since grade school. I always admired their friendship. Lisa worked as a school teacher. She was a sweet and caring person, the perfect partner for Sam. I never doubted Sam and Lisa's relationship, just as I never doubted my own with Jess. But sometimes, life has a strange way of unfolding, of revealing things you'd never expect. And so, the stage was set, a happy and content life with people I loved. What could possibly go wrong? But the world isn't a fair place, is it? And that, my friends, is where the twist in my tale begins. Picking up from where I left, it was a typical Friday. We were planning for a weekend getaway, someplace quiet and close to nature. Jess loved these small trips. They brought a sparkle to her eyes. That day, I came home a bit early, thinking of surprising her with her favorite rose wine and gourmet pasta. Our neighbor, Mrs. Riley, a kind old woman who treated us like her kids, waved at me as I parked the car. She was the neighborhood's eyes and ears. Nothing ever happened in our quiet suburb that she didn't know. That's when I saw Sam's car parked outside our house. It was odd because he usually informed me before visiting. But then again, he could have just dropped by to see Jess or play with Baxter. I didn't think much of it and went inside, looking forward to a peaceful evening. So, that's my world, a loving wife, a caring friend, a cozy home, and a peaceful neighborhood. But unbeknownst to me, my world was about to shatter. Unseen cracks had already formed and were slowly inching their way to tear my life apart. The masks were about to drop, and the facades crumble. I just didn't know it yet. In hindsight, I realized that I missed the signs. There were subtle changes, things that felt off. I just chalked it up to stress or routine. In reality, it was a web of deception, so intricately woven that it was almost invisible until it ensnared me completely. That's me, my life before it spiraled out of control, oblivious to the storm that was brewing in my own backyard. If only I knew. Fast forward to that fateful evening. The sun was setting, casting a warm orange glow on the suburban homes. I walked up the steps to our front door, feeling content. The smell of lasagna wafted through the door. Jess loved cooking, and I was excited about the evening ahead. Unlocking the door, I stepped in, calling out for Jess and Baxter. Silence greeted me, a silence that seemed out of place. Baxter usually came bounding towards the door as soon as he heard my voice, but not today. A knot started forming in my stomach. I brushed it off, thinking they might be in the backyard. As I moved further into the house, I noticed 2 wine glasses on the coffee table. A bottle of Merlot, half empty, sat between them. My heart started beating faster. Jess preferred rose wine. Merlot was Sam's favorite. I tried to shake off the growing unease. They were friends after all. They could have a drink together. But as I climbed the stairs to our bedroom, I heard soft voices, barely a whisper. The door was slightly ajar, and what I saw through the crack turned my world upside down. Jess was there, in the arms of Sam. They were laughing about something, her head resting on his shoulder, their fingers entwined. It was as if I had walked into a nightmare. The sight of my wife, the woman I loved with all my heart, with my best friend, it was too much to bear. I felt a sharp pain in my chest as if a dagger had pierced through my heart. Betrayal, that's what it felt like. I was betrayed by the 2 people I trusted the most. I quietly stepped back, my mind in a whirlwind of emotions. Anger, sorrow, confusion, it was a chaotic storm. But one thing was clear, I had been cheated, lied to, and my seemingly perfect life was a sham. The woman I had vowed to protect was the one who had stabbed me in the back. I retreated from the door, my heart pounding in my chest. I couldn't believe my eyes, and my mind was racing. It felt like I was in a surreal dream. But the stinging reality of it hit me hard. The truth evident in their laughter and the intimacy that they shared in our sacred space. My sanctuary, our bedroom, was tainted by their deceit. I didn't confront them right away. Instead, I decided to gather my wits. The following days were tough, pretending as if everything was normal while a storm was raging inside me. I watched them closely, noticed their secret glances, the hushed phone calls, and the sudden interest in late-night gym sessions. It was a slap to my face, each discovery a new betrayal. I recalled the past few months, and the signs started falling into place. The missed dinners, the less frequent conversations, her newfound interest in working out, the messages that she quickly closed whenever I was around, and the countless excuses to spend more time with Sam. I felt like a fool, an unsuspecting puppet in their wicked game. One day, I found an earring under our bed that wasn't Jess's. It belonged to Lisa. It suddenly dawned on me that Lisa had no idea about her husband's infidelity either. She was as blind as I was, blissfully unaware of the reality. We were both being played, victims of a cunning plot concocted by the people we love. My sorrow quickly morphed into anger. I wasn't just a husband wronged. I felt the weight of Lisa's heartbreak too. We were both trapped in a web of lies, our happiness shattered, and our trust broken by the ones we cherished the most. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about 2 lives destroyed by selfishness and deceit. It was during those days I chanced upon their texts while Jess was in the shower. Their messages filled with flirtations and secret rendezvous details. I couldn't stomach the content. It was too much. The pain was unbearable. But the last message sent chills down my spine. "We can't keep sneaking around like this. I need to talk to Lisa." I felt like a spectator in my own life, a bitter irony. I was living a dual life, carrying on with my routine work, pretending to be the blissfully ignorant husband. While inside, a storm was brewing, a tempest of anger, sorrow, and vengeance. What hurt me the most was not just the infidelity but the loss of trust. The person I had put my faith in, had shared my dreams with, had built a life with, was the one who was pulling me apart. And Sam, he was no better. A friend who I had trusted, who I had welcomed into my home, was backstabbing me. I felt like I was sinking in quicksand. Every time I tried to pull myself up, their deceit would pull me deeper into the abyss. But I knew I had to confront them, for myself and for Lisa. One afternoon, when Jess was out shopping, I called Lisa over. She was shocked and confused as I showed her the texts, the earring, and shared my observations. Her face turned white, her eyes filled with unshed tears. We were both victims in this cruel game. We decided to confront them together, to tear off their masks and expose their deceit. Little did we know that this confrontation would be the catalyst for the unraveling of more dark secrets. With determination and anger fueling our actions, Lisa and I formulated a plan to confront Jess and Sam. We knew we had to expose their lies, make them face the consequences of their betrayal. It was time to reveal the truth and reclaim our shattered lives. We arranged a meeting, a face-to-face encounter that would leave no room for denial or evasion. We chose a neutral location, a quiet cafe where emotions could be contained, but the truth could not be ignored. Lisa and I arrived early, our hearts pounding with anticipation and nerves. As Jess and Sam walked in, their faces contorted with shock at the sight of us sitting there together, united against their deceit. There was no hiding now, no escape from the harsh reality they had created. The air was heavy with tension, words suspended between us, waiting to be unleashed. With a calm yet resolute voice, I began to lay out the evidence, piece by painful piece. The texts, the earring, the secret meetings, all the lies they had woven into the fabric of our lives. Lisa and I shared our pain, our betrayal, and demanded answers. Jess was speechless, her eyes filled with guilt and shame. Sam, the once confident and charming friend, seemed small and defeated. Their silence spoke volumes, confirming the depth of their deception. It was a defining moment, a turning point in our lives. Anger and hurt boiled within me, demanding justice. I made it clear that their actions had consequences. I threatened legal action, revealing their infidelity to friends and family. They had underestimated the strength of the bond between Lisa and me, the determination to seek retribution. In that moment, a newfound strength surged through my veins. I was no longer the victim, but the one in control. I would not allow their betrayal to define me. I would rise above it, rebuild my life, and leave them to face the consequences of their actions. Lisa and I walked away from that cafe with a renewed sense of purpose. We had exposed the truth, confronted the deceit, and now it was time to reclaim our lives. It wouldn't be easy, but together we would support one another through the healing process. We were no longer victims, we were survivors. The days following the confrontation were a mix of emotions. There was a sense of relief, knowing that the truth was out in the open. But there was also a lingering pain, the raw wounds of betrayal still fresh. Lisa and I leaned on each other for support, finding solace in our shared experience. As the news of their infidelity spread among our circle of friends and family, the shock and disbelief were palpable. Many were taken aback, unable to fathom the extent of Jess and Sam's deceit. Some offered words of sympathy, while others distanced themselves, unsure of how to navigate the aftermath. Legal proceedings loomed ahead, with lawyers and mediators involved. It was a necessary step to ensure a fair division of assets and responsibilities. But amidst the paperwork and negotiations, a sense of empowerment grew within me. I refused to let their actions define my future. I focused on rebuilding my life, discovering new passions, and reconnecting with old friends. Therapy helped me process the pain and regain my self-confidence. I immersed myself in work, finding solace in the routine and the sense of accomplishment it brought. As for Jess and Sam, their lives seemed to crumble around them. Their careers suffered, their reputations tarnished. They faced the consequences of their actions and were forced to confront the damage they had caused. I tried not to revel in their downfall, instead choosing to focus on my own healing and growth. Time passed, wounds healed, and life moved forward. I found new love, a person who restored my faith in relationships and showed me that true loyalty and honesty still existed. Together, we built a new foundation, one based on trust, communication, and genuine love. Looking back, I realized that the pain of betrayal has transformed me. It made me stronger, more resilient, and taught me valuable lessons about the importance of self-worth and boundaries. I've learned to cherish the people in my life who truly care for me, and I've become more discerning in who I allow into my inner circle. Infidelity is a painful experience, one that shakes the very core of a person's being. But it doesn't have to define us. We have the power to rise above the ashes, to rebuild our lives with newfound strength and wisdom. With the truth exposed and the legal proceedings in motion, it was time for me to confront Jess directly. I needed closure, answers to the burning questions that had consumed my thoughts since that fateful day. I arranged to meet Jess at a local cafe, a place where we had shared countless intimate conversations in the past. As I sat across from her, my heart pounding, I could see the remorse in her eyes. The once vibrant spark had dimmed, replaced by a mixture of guilt and sadness. I took a deep breath, mustering the strength to speak my truth. Every word was laced with pain and anger as I expressed my disappointment and the deep hurt caused by her betrayal. I demanded honesty, a genuine explanation for her actions. At first, she stumbled over her words, offering feeble justifications and half-hearted apologies. But I wasn't going to settle for empty words. I needed the truth, the unfiltered version of events that led her down this path. With time, Jess began to open up. She admitted to feeling lost, to a growing sense of dissatisfaction within our relationship. She spoke of the allure of Sam's attention, the excitement that had temporarily blinded her to the consequences. It was a painful admission, but it provided some semblance of understanding. As the conversation progressed, emotions ran high. Anger and hurt resurfaced, giving way to tears and heated exchanges. It was a cathartic release, a purging of the pain that had consumed me for so long. I let it all out, every raw emotion, not holding back. But as the storm subsided, a sense of clarity washed over me. I realized that seeking revenge or further punishment wouldn't bring me the closure I desired. It was time to let go, to heal and move forward. Holding on to anger would only prolong my suffering. In the days that followed, I focused on self-care and self-reflection. I surrounded myself with loved ones who offered unwavering support and understanding. Therapy became a crucial part of my healing journey, helping me process the trauma and rebuild my sense of self. I chose not to engage in petty acts of revenge or seek to publicly shame Jess and Sam. It wasn't about winning some twisted battle. It was about finding peace within myself. I channeled my energy into personal growth, pursuing new passions, and rebuilding my life on my own terms. As time passed, I found forgiveness within my heart, not for their actions, but for my own peace of mind. It was a process, a gradual journey towards healing, but I emerged stronger than ever. Today, I stand tall, a survivor of infidelity. The wounds have healed, leaving behind scars that serve as reminders of my resilience. I learned the importance of self-love, setting boundaries, and never compromising my worth for anyone. Life has a funny way of teaching us valuable lessons, even in the most painful moments. I emerged from the darkness with a newfound appreciation for the beauty of love, trust, and the power of forgiveness. I am no longer defined by their betrayal, but by my ability to rise above it. In the aftermath of the confrontation, I made a conscious decision to focus on my own healing and personal growth. Revenge may have tempted me, but I knew that it wouldn't bring me true satisfaction or closure. Instead, I channeled my energy into productive avenues. One of my first actions was to gather evidence of Jess's infidelity to support my case during the legal proceeding. I sought the assistance of a private investigator who discreetly captured photographs, recorded conversations, and documented any other relevant information. The evidence was not for revenge, but rather to protect my rights and ensure a fair resolution. As the legal process unfolded, it became clear that Jess and I would be going our separate ways. Divorce was inevitable, and it was a difficult pill to swallow. We had once shared dreams and built a life together, but trust had been shattered beyond repair. It was time to move forward and rebuild. I focused on reclaiming my own identity, separate from the pain and betrayal. I reconnected with old friends, pursued new hobbies, and rediscovered my passions. It wasn't easy, as there were moments of loneliness and doubt, but I reminded myself that I deserved happiness and fulfillment. During this time, I also maintained a strong support system. Family, friends, and even therapy provided the necessary guidance and encouragement to navigate the emotional roller coaster. Their unwavering presence gave me strength, reminding me that I wasn't alone in this journey. Amidst the chaos, a newfound sense of self emerged. I discovered resilience and determination that I hadn't known before. I reevaluated my own values and boundaries, vowing to protect myself from any future heartbreak. The experience had taught me to trust my instincts and prioritize my own well-being. As the legal proceedings concluded and the divorce was finalized, I embraced my newfound freedom. I moved into a cozy apartment, a space that reflected my personal taste and aspirations. It became a sanctuary, a place where I could rebuild my life on my own terms. Over time, the pain began to fade. I forgave Jess and Sam, not because their actions were justified, but because holding on to resentment would only hinder my own growth and happiness. Forgiveness wasn't about condoning their behavior. It was about freeing myself from the burden of anger and resentment. Today, I am in a much better place. I've discovered a renewed sense of self-worth and an appreciation for the lessons that life has taught me. I've opened myself up to the possibility of love once again, although I am more cautious and selective in choosing a partner. While the scars of infidelity will always be a part of my story, they no longer define me. I am resilient, stronger than ever, and determined to create a future filled with love, trust, and authentic connections. Life has its challenges, but I now face them with a newfound strength and the unwavering belief in my own worthiness.